reasonably comfortably?
Reasonably comfortably. Could be 6-6 against Karlovic, though. I'm not saying it's going to be a 3-3, because obviously with him serving out there, then you might have to get it done in a couple of breakers or even 3 breakers. But I do expect Roger to come through this. But it's not, just as it's very difficult to practice against somebody that plays anything like Rafa, it's very difficult to practice against anybody that plays like Karlovic, because you've literally got to get someone standing on the service line smashing serves down at you to get the sort of trajectory off the court to return. So, you know, he's just that rare player that has something that is so utterly unique that makes him a nightmare really to face. But yes, I mean, the conditions will suit Karlovic a little bit. It's quicker, can have a swing off the ground. He doesn't want to get into baseline rallies, otherwise Roger will out-rally him. But hey, when you've got a serve like his, you've got a chance.
Seems so when you look at Federer's record against Karlovic, 7 wins out of 8, and of course he tends to do very well against Andy Roddick as well. He seems to deal especially well with that big weapon that is sent down.
Yeah, he doesn't mind it, because he's got the hand skills to blunt the attack, because he can just bunt it back into court and everything else. So I think that he is equipped, as he's shown in the past, to deal with it, you know, very well, expertly. You know, obviously it's just a question of getting it done for him, but nobody feels entirely comfortable stepping out onto court with Karlovic.
How big a week is this for Federer after what happened in Monte Carlo and of course on the hard courts before that?
In context of his career, it's not a big week. In the context of short-term goals, it's a massive week for the French. It's massive, it's huge. He needs to have a big week. I don't see how, if he doesn't have a big week here or in Madrid, he can go into the French with any realistic chance of winning it. And I mean, I still think he'll be there or thereabouts at the end of the French, regardless of how badly he does in the next few weeks, because I just think over 5 sets he's so tough to dislodge, because he just has that much more room to breathe. He, you know, a couple of errors here or there just don't hurt him quite as much, and he's in phenomenal shape, which I don't think people really, you know, give him enough credit for. I think they sort of take it as for granted that Federer's in great shape, he can last the distance, but he works so hard on that particular aspect of his game, which is why he was able to be so dominant for so long. But I do think in terms of actually going into the French thinking, you know, the one that I haven't won, I can win this. I think he needs to have a title before he goes in there.
And there were mixed reactions after his defeat in Monte Carlo, which was to Wawrinka. Prior to that, he'd been losing to Nadal or Murray, fellow members of the top 4. There were those who said, well, he got married the week before, his preparation time was very limited.
It's supposed to inspire you, isn't it?
You can do all sorts of things, can't it? But it didn't allow him to perhaps practice and prepare as much as he would have wanted for his first clay court campaign. But it was Wawrinka who,
he needs to
course,
put his foot down early, otherwise that's going to come back to haunt him.
Yeah, well, he has to be careful, because I think Mrs. R likes to keep him on his toes. Well,
he's been in some Italian hideaway, so I don't know if that counts as a romantic break for Mirka and for Roger. But he's clearly been putting the work in, and you're right. I mean, I think Monte Carlo, you know, can we read to? I don't think so. But that's why I think that this week, somewhere where he's done well before, he's been, you know, match points away from beating Rafa here. You know, he likes this place. He likes the clay here. He enjoys the surroundings. So therefore, yes, I think that if he loses early here, then the signs will be good. Having said that, against this guy, losing, would it? You know, I just can't. I wouldn't read too much into losing to Karlovic.
You're backtracking just a little.
Well, no, because he's just so unique. It's like if he was playing a Federer or someone or Gonzalez that he's had a lot of success against, you know, then I think, well, there's some tangible result. There's something you can say, well, he didn't do that well. I mean, this guy, I mean, it's like one-shot rallies. I mean, you know, that's not clay court tennis.
But if Rafa was playing him now, would you say the same thing, or would you expect Rafa? Yeah.
No.
So this guy could upset anybody on any service at any time.
And you can't then go back to the locker room and say I'm hitting the ball terribly, because you don't know. So you probably hit 8 returns in the match. How do you know how well or badly you're playing? And then suddenly you're tight on your one service game and match is over. That's not a true test of where your game's at.
Except that when he was world #1, he beat the guy every time, and the one defeat came to Karlovic last year, just as 1 or 2 doubts were beginning to be formulated.
Yeah, I mean, you can read into that if you want to. I just think that Karlovic could, you know, he could beat anybody. I do. I don't care how he could have beaten Borg when Borg was winning 6 French. He could have just gone out there and served him off the court. That's what he does.
Okay, so it is a potentially awkward first hurdle for Roger Federer. Keep your texts and emails coming. Reaction to Andy Murray's defeat. Anything Mark or I have said that's annoyed or inspired you? Text the word tennis and then your message to 84401. Cost 25 pence. Network charges may vary. Do please include your name when texting. And the email address is tennis@skysports.com. Mention of Rafa, he's the next match on this court against an Italian Andrea Seppi. That's going to be special. We are interactive as well. Press your red button right now to catch up on Mardy Fish and Fernando Verdasco on court 1. But we'll see just how Dr. Evo goes against Roger Federer in the company once again of Leif Shiras and Barry Mills.
Thank you, gentlemen. A warm welcome back to this terrific arena. Perfect setting today under the blue skies. And a warm welcome given to Roger Federer, once more returning here, twice the runner-up. Tall test that this man will pose to him. Karlovic to serve at the start. One of their 8 previous meetings coming here last year in the round of 16. Federer advancing on that occasion, 7-6, 6-3. The day when he created 12 break points, converted 2 of them, and wasn't broken himself. But it will be interesting to see, Leif, whether he has brought his own good first serve back, because it was something that he didn't have with him in Monte Carlo, nor his forehand. They were 2 areas of concern, major areas for him.
Well, if he touches the ball, we'll see. He has yet to get his racket on one.
Good stab volley into the corner, so a love game to start for the giant Croat. And certainly looking to pick up his season. It has not been the best by any stretch. 8 wins, 8 losses for him. Just 1 quarter-final appearance for Karlovic so far this year. That was in Chennai early in the season.
Karlovic is a problem no matter what surface you play on. He's going to bring that big game, and as you saw in that last point of the last game, serving and volley on clay can be as effective for him as it is on grass.
First serve and first forehand after it. Good enough there. And of course, going back behind Karlovic, who's not the best mover, being such a tall man, had its effect.
And the obvious strategy in these exchanges for Federer is to play to the open court, force the big man to move, and look for opportunities to sneak in and maybe even play a volley at the right times. But Karlovic can be dangerous from the back of the court.
Raised eyebrows time. How many times have we seen that of late?
Ooh. He crushed that forehand, and it If it missed at all, it didn't miss by much. Man, that would have given him a couple break points. Finally, he made some clean contact on the forehand. Boy, I hate to give Karlovic too many chances. Offering up a double fault on deuce.
It is the weaker wing, and served good enough in the end to squeeze through that game. One or two worrying moments early on.
Yeah, there have been worrying moments really over the last year for Federer. How will he address them this week? I think he needs to make a statement, play well, go deep into this tournament, be around on the weekend. Not only to reassure the fans around the world who support him, because he has so many, but also just to reassure himself.
Karlovic making the third round here just a couple of times, including last year. Good return, dipped it. Difficult for Karlovic to do much with the volley.
Yeah, and that serve came right into the Federer forehand. He was sharp, backed it up well.
Beautiful touch. Threaded it through. And huge support around for him, and nearly out of their chairs after that. And there's still a huge will, isn't there, for him to do well, to win again.
Such beautiful control when he did finally get to the ball. The Italians have such a great sense of style, and Federer has always represented style so well. Not only in his tennis, but his dress, the way he handles himself. And this is one of the Master Series that he has failed to win. He's been to the finals a couple times. I guess the other is Paris and Monte Carlo.
14 in total, but now second equal with Nadal, who's caught him up and threatening to go past in pursuit of Andre Agassi's record of 17. Again, it was the body serve, but this time Federer making the return. And with it coming the error, he gets the breakthrough, 2-1.
Hello, mate. Weeds, they really are relentless little blighters. If you don't kill the leaves and the roots, some keep coming back. Resolver 24H does both, giving you visible results in 24 hours. And no more roots means no more weed. Resolve your weed problem with Resolver 24H.
Looking for a rewarding cash ISA? Well, the new Reward ISA is a big idea from Abbey. It gives you a 1.5% tax-free return. And on top of that, you'll also be rewarded with a special bonus if you leave your money untouched. 2% variable at the end of the first year, leading to an impressive 3.5% tax-free. For more about Abbey's Reward ISA, call 0800 80 80 80. The Reward ISA is available from branches of Abbey, Bradford and Bingley and Alliance and Leicester, which have joined the Santander Group. Together, we are Santander.
Everyone wants to see this, how Federer will fare after his disappointments earlier in the year. Can he mount a title bid this week? A long while since he got one, Basel last season. The last time he was in the winner's enclosure. But first things first, let's deal with Karlovic if he can. Good start after the initial break point against him.
And that was a wonderful sort of bird's eye view of this stadium. These Master Series sites, they're just, particularly the ones in Europe that have a real history behind them. This one goes back to 1930. I think Bill Tilden, the great American tennis player, really the world's first superstar, won this title, and it's his first year it's been around. Of course, it doesn't hurt when the weather's nice.
30-15. For service.
Low bouncing return.
Yeah, and he has such a loose swing on the forehand. It's such a feel shot that there's nothing technically wrong with it. It's more about just confidence. And it's the number of errors you see him producing is just like nothing we've ever seen before.
So again a hold, but he'll be looking to do more with his first serve than he's managed so far. In fact, he's won only a couple of points on it. Very low percentage. There's the misses.
really feel like the conditions are a little more tricky than they were earlier today when Andy Murray started out. I think there wasn't quite as much of a breeze, and now the winds are swirling just a bit. And perhaps that's one reason why Karlovic is struggling so much. He just hasn't found a rhythm with the toss and then the subsequent volley. That's a little better.
Second serve. The line umpire cut off. The ball's up.
Got a look at it and latches onto it really well. That's more like the Federer of old.
Yeah. And anytime you play someone with Federer's talent, you can serve big, but if you don't hit your spots, he's going to put his racket on the ball and hurt you.
Just gave himself enough room. Giant frame, but this was some forehand.
Yeah, there's a lot of swing behind that. You can see his racket head's pretty active in the back, but he was able to get it to the hit on time.
Federer concedes it. That's why. Biggest feet in tennis, so perhaps they are threatening that line.
And for many people, that's comparable to luggage. Sizable shoe. Have you ever seen Shaq O'Neal's shoe? 23 is the size. Sleeps too.
No tripping up there. Karlovic holds for the second time.
In the time it takes to run this commercial, you could call Optical Express and we could help you transform your life. From only £395 per eye, you could enjoy laser vision correction from one of the leading eye care specialists in Europe. Our expert ophthalmic surgeons have a combined experience of over 500,000 procedures. For your free information pack or to arrange a free consultation, call Optical Express. Laser vision correction from only £395 per eye. Call 08702 20 20 20 now.
At Direct Line Home Insurance, we hate to be beaten.
We're not on price comparison websites, so we don't pay them commission.
And when you come to us direct, we can give you savings. So right now you get 12 months cover for the price of 10. It's a snip.
Would you kindly leave the stage?
We're as bad as each other. So, for 12 months cover for the price of 10, call us now.
Or visit directline.com.
Yes.
Second round action. Under bright sunshine today. Blue skies, great to see after the deluge of the past couple of days. Still trying to catch up on the schedule a little bit. close to closing out his first round match against Florent Serra. 5-2 up now, the Czech in the final set. David Ferrer is 2-4 down in his final set against Paul-Henri Mathieu. Those the two remaining first round matches to be completed, and the winners of those matches will have to play again today. It's not all big serve. Occasionally he can unleash like that.
Yeah, and that's where he's become so dangerous. Is it? He's developed some shots from the back of the court. His backhand was a real liability for a long time now. When he makes contact, it can be very effective.
Again, that combination is so key to him, isn't it? The big serve, or using the serve well, which he did there with the kicker out wide, and then it's that follow-up forehand. We've seen one miscue from him, Leaf, but thankfully no more since then. So having got that initial break, it does seem to have settled in.
Yeah, he does seem more relaxed. He's finding the center of his racket. And Federer's struggles, if you can define them as such, of course, I'm sure that's a relative term when you talk about his struggles, but some people are suggesting that he change his racket, that he go to a racket face that's a little bit bigger. Nicely done by the big man. Because Federer uses one of the sort of the smaller rackets in terms of square inches in the head. I remember Pete Sampras when he was nearing the end of his career. Now when he played senior tennis, he went to a larger racket. It says, I wish I'd made the change at the end of my career. Gone to a bigger hitting area.
Likes to fire from the hip with a forehand like that, but when this is down at those toes.
Yeah, but again, I think Mark Petchey was talking about the stubbornness of the greats in our sport. You know, Federer just doesn't want to relinquish the control he has with that particular racket. Look what's happened to Novak Djokovic with his change of rackets. I mean, it's been an ongoing topic of conversation despite his fine play in Monte Carlo.
first set yesterday for Djokovic, defending the title. 7-6 against Albert Montañez of Spain, but then coasted through the second 6-love. Another ace from Karlovic, and takes one more game at least, but Federer still with the advantage.
Semi-final time in the UEFA Champions League. And it's Manchester United v Arsenal in their first ever European clash.
Going to be a great semi-final, some good football in that one.
Well, that is quite exquisite.
It's massive for us to play against probably the best team in the world.
Long way out. What a goal! The Champions League semi-final first leg. Tonight at 7, Sky Sports 2 and HD2.
Bleach cleaners don't always cover the whole bowl, so stains and germs can get left behind. So how do you get better coverage? New Harpic Power Plus Max coverage spreads across the bowl, so its powerful formula can remove stains and germs. For a perfectly clean loo, it's all you need. Harpic Power Plus leaves your toilet squeaky clean. New Harpic Max Power Plus. It has a foaming action and now 20% more fragrance, helping your toilet stay fresh and clean with every flush. New Harpic Max Power Plus.
He's not asleep, he's just thinking hard. Now to try and get the break back. Had the early chance to do so, to break ahead in fact, but failed to, then conceded his own serve in the third game. And Federer has kept a lid on him since. 7 games gone, new balls.
That's what Karlovic needs to do. Take his swings, take his chances. Just try and come up with something. Play his way back into this match. Put a little pressure on Federer to produce. And that is perfect tennis from the big man. Second serve, took a swing and converted.
That's the way he used to go about it, holding, saving break points, 15-40 down, and you often would think of Federer at his absolute peak. Well, he can still sort this out. Can he do it again here? Can he hold the nerve on these shots as he did in that last point? There's your answer. Quick, elegant movement around the ball, and that was well struck. So a good game one from a difficult position. 2 games clear again. News of another seed falling by the wayside, hot on the heels of Andy Murray's disappointing exit. David Ferrer of Spain has been beaten by Paul-Henri Mathieu of France, 6-3, 2-6, 6-2. Mathieu then into the second round and will next play Misha Zverev, the German qualifier.
That's another improvement from Karlovic, the underspin backhand. It had some angle, it had pace, and it kept the ball very low. It's not an easy play for the big man to get down to a low ball himself. Well, he knew he was out of position, Karlovic, so he tried to do something a little extra, give the volley a little bit more, but it just wasn't enough. And for Karlovic to play well, he needs to serve well. And if he doesn't serve well, he's going to struggle. That's unlike most players, you know, who if they don't serve well, they can still manage with other skills. Karlovic is so dependent on that serve, just needs to produce. Like that mix of pace from Federer with the forehands. So what a time for another double fault. Perhaps wary of being stung if he'd gone to the forehand side, as he was earlier in the match. And now Federer earning his first set point.
Okay, not just yet.
Wow, that was just thunderous. Explosive off the strings. 5 aces. Oof. That one just caromed off the line and nearly hit Federer in the head.
It caught a spectator. Thankfully, they're still able to watch.
A little more carefully from here on in.
So Federer will have to serve for this opening set after the break.
I am not a customer reference number.
Don't treat me like an idiot.
Remember me.
Don't call me by my stage name.
This is a company being built around you. This is Aviva.
Nestling in the heart of Devon, the Manor House and Ashbury Hotels offer all residents free use of all sports and leisure facilities, including tennis on our 6 indoor and 5 outdoor courts, golf on our 7 18-hole courses. Try your hand at one of our 15 tutored crafts. Call 0800 234 3072 or visit our website www.manortennisdevon.com.
One or two moments of concern for Federer, but he has held on so far. He has the key break of serve in this opening set, and now an attempt to close it. And again, that's what they've come to see, what they've been looking for, what he's been looking for. Just the wrong line. Two more set points to the number 2. And some fine volleying. That'll please him even more. And his good lady. 6-4.
Bleach cleaners don't always cover the whole bowl, so stains and germs can get left behind. So how do you get better coverage? New Harpic Power Plus Max coverage spreads across the bowl, so its powerful formula can remove stains and germs. For a perfectly clean loo, it's all you need. Harpic Power Plus leaves your toilet squeaky clean. New Harpic Max Power Plus. It has a foaming action and now 20% more fragrance, helping your toilet stay fresh and clean with every flush. New Harpic Max Power Plus.
with up to 50% off at Bath Store. We're big on savings as well as quality. Bath Store. Now everyone can have a beautiful bathroom.
If you don't use your printer because the ink costs too much, then what's the point in having a printer? Switch to a Kodak all-in-one printer, and on average, you'll save £75 a year on ink. See how much you could save at printandprosper.com.
Big night of boxing coming up on Saturday evening. From Las Vegas, top of the bill, Ricky Hatton versus Manny Pacquiao for the IBO light welterweight title. Action gets underway from 10 o'clock on Sky Box Office. For more information, go to channel 743 or call 08442 410 888. So that's channel 743 or call 08442 410 888. If you want to get in touch with us, don't forget you can text the word tennis in your message, 84401, 25 pence. Network charges may vary. And the email address is tennis@skysports.com. Antonio has emailed in. I hope he's going to be watching at the end of this Federer match, because Mark Petchey promises to respond wholeheartedly to your comments about that Andy Murray match. So far, so good for Roger Federer. A set-up on Dr. Ivo. We had an email the other day asking whether Ivo Karlovic was indeed a real doctor. The answer is no. I'm not quite sure where the Dr. Ivo nickname came from, but something to do with Dr. Evil and all that sort of thing. Into the second set with Leaf and Barry.
Tough going for Karlovic. Federer would have signed for that first set, I'm sure, at the start.
Second service.
He may not be an actual doctor, but he has a PhD in serving. Dr. Evo. It's obvious. Was that a reference to Dr. Evil from James Bond?
Sounds up that street, doesn't it?
Or was it Austin Powers?
Austin Powers, perhaps more like it.
Barry, did I see you putting your pinky to your mouth? A la Mike Myers.
Not sure he has a PhD in volleying, though.
Well, I mean, you can see why he's, 8-8 this series. Just not as sharp as he was last year when he beat Federer in Cincy and when he played him close in Rome.
As great as a server he has been down the years, that was one game he'll want to forget.
Yeah, and it's, Federer's got a set and a break now, and there's been so much talk about his struggles, and
even John McEnroe had to chime in.
He said that, I'd be happy to help out Federer. I'm only a phone call away. But he said that, in the past, when he was asked to help other guys, he worked with Boris Becker, Worked with Sergio Bruguera, worked with Mark Philippoulis, and said none of them listened to me anyway. So I think John involved in the coaching. Wouldn't it be something if Federer could find his best tennis this week? And imagine if he won this title, how suddenly it would change things going into Madrid and then down the road a little further, the French Open. You know, or if anyone could make a charge and perhaps knock off Rafael Nadal, who I think will be ripe for the taking this week because he's played consecutive weeks. You know, I think he might be ripe for possible upset. And the conditions are a little quicker here in Rome than in Monte Carlo or in Spain.
A pure tennis stroke. So as difficult as it could have been potentially against a guy like Karlovic with his huge serve, having got a break already in each set. For Federer, this is just the kind of thing to get him going again after the setback in Monte Carlo.
Just can't find his rhythm on the serve. And the serve is important for every player because not only does it start off every point, but it gets you started on your next play. So it establishes your rhythm, helps you build some confidence. So far it hasn't happened for the big guy. And that's probably the most remarkable of his serves when he does take the ball wide, because most serves like that have a fair amount of spin. He just crushes that, absolutely crushes it.
Switch and a miss from Federer there, threw him again, another ace, but still the Swiss with the advantage of a set and a break.
Hi, I'm Hugh Jackman. This is Sky Movies' Hugh Jackman's Takeover Weekend.
Exciting, extreme, extraordinary. Hugh Jackman presents presents a weekend of films with the X Factor.
My weekend, my movies.
Plus an interview on Alex Zane's guest list, a special on his latest movie, and the premiere of Deception.
I'll be watching.
Stay in and go to the movies with Hugh Jackman on Sky Movies.
Make my day. I'll watch it.
Bleach cleaners don't always cover the whole bowl, so stains and germs can get left behind. So how do you get better coverage? New Harpic Power Plus Max coverage spreads across the bowl, so its powerful formula can remove stains and germs. For a perfectly clean loo, it's all you need. Harpic Power Plus leaves your toilet squeaky clean. New Harpic Max Power Plus. It has a foaming action and now 20% more fragrance, helping your toilet stay fresh and clean with every flush. New Harpic Max Power Plus.
Fans out in abundance today, enjoying themselves under the sunshine. Some tough battles been taking place all around the Foro Italico. Radek Stepanek has just gone through 7-5 in the final set past Florent Serrat of France. So Stepanek putting in his place in the second round, completing the second round lineup. But a big win to report with Jürgen Melzer knocking out the 7th seed Nikolai Davydenko 7-5, 7-6. So Melzer through to the third round, and he'll next face either Fernando Gonzalez or Janko Tipsarevic.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how injuries can really affect the tennis world. I mean, Davydenko outside the top 10 now for the first time since 2005. I mean, that's a pretty nice neighborhood, the top 10. So he must have had some mortgage issues outside at number 11.
Would you still expect him to come back inside the top 10 pretty quickly?
I would. I think that he's a quality player. He's rough. On any surface except grass. I don't know why he can't play on grass, but he just can't.
Maybe he'll take a leaf out of Marat Safin's book. Show up this year at Wimbledon and do something special. This event and Madrid to come, all leading up to the second Grand Slam of the year at Roland Garros. And Federer, 3 times the runner-up in the last 3 years, talking about the need to win this year, not just wanting to, but needing to win it. And he knows that to do so would certainly cement his place in the game at the very forefront. When you think how he capitulated and was crushed in the last final there. Clearly he needs to have a much better game if he's to take on Nadal there this time. But would you put him past? Would you put it past him? Some have, but some will never do that.
Yeah. Djokovic and Murray both got a taste of the level you need to play at to take out Nadal in Monte Carlo this year. Djokovic taking a set and pressing him in the third. And
he's got a sense of parting now.
He definitely needs to be quick on the line. Really, they should provide him with some protective gear. Calling that center line when Karlovic is serving would only seem fair.
That's a nice volley there.
Four more points to his name, but still has yet to break Federer in this match. Down 3-2 in the second set.
I am not a customer reference number.
Don't treat me like an idiot.
Remember me.
Don't call me by my stage name.
This is a company being built around you. This is Aviva.
Here, Churchill, can I really count on you for award-winning car insurance with a price that won't go up next year?
Oh, yes.
And UK call centres?
Oh, yes.
Here, I wouldn't believe everything he says. He told me he won first prize at the karaoke.
Oh, no, no, no.
You don't love me, and I know.
For car insurance that won't go up next year, count on Churchill. Call or go online.
A Roman pigeon, he's looking for fallen seeds here. Ferrer and Murray have gone today, Davydenko as well, but no sign as yet that Federer is going to follow suit.
See, I'm surprised that Karlovic doesn't come in behind that return. I know he's trying to be aggressive, trying to play with a little bit of variety in the attack, but why not just chip that ball deep and get that big body up to the net?
I don't have the total number of forehand winners today, but an encouraging number from Federer. We didn't care about that last point. The game gone.
I think to Federer's credit, when he did say, after the loss in Monte Carlo, that I wasn't really prepared. You almost have to believe him, because it's not like you're going to be hitting practice balls in the middle of your wedding. I mean, Peter Fleming might be able to get away with that, but not Roger Federer.
New ball.
Never really watched a server who's left divots in the court. That's how hard that serve is coming in. Yeah, nicely done. Remember, Andy Roddick did a wonderful ad campaign about, I want to say, 7 or 8 years ago. It had him serving on a clay court and the ball just implanted in the court.
Funny you mention it, I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day. Once again.
Yeah, that's something worth checking out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure it's available on YouTube or something, but it was a wonderful ad campaign because he was just serving rockets right into the ground.
Very difficult to deal with high, deep into that corner. The first serve so important for him because on the second, Federer has made inroads. Still just one break in it, but Federer as yet showing no signs of relinquishing it.
Mouth-watering, exotic, new mango, peach and papaya. Discover something new from Tropicana.
Low fares to hundreds of destinations with National Express.
When you're needing a number, they never slumber. 118 24/7. It's directory heaven.
I've discovered something amazing. I can finish my tea without finishing theirs too.
Come to a Weight Watchers meeting and discover the brilliant new plan. Because we know boredom and stress can make us eat, we show you how to control your cravings and lose weight.
All my cravings are in my head, not my tummy.
To get to your summer shape, take the first step. Come to a Weight Watchers meeting now for as little as $3.95 a week with a free starter pack and no registration fee. Here comes the sun.
Roger Federer enjoying his first match of the week, and the crowd enjoying it too, seeing him perform as well as this.
He has to be a little more aggressive on those returns. He's just fighting the ball a little too much. And this is fairly routine for Federer, and it sets up a very interesting potential matchup with Radek Stepanek, who played a couple of close matches here. Of course, Stepanek has to take on Lopez.
Just 3 break points faced today for Federer so far, and all saved. Can he break Karlovic for the 3rd time and take his place in the next round?
was a wonderful point. And Federer was scrambling to defend, trying to keep the point alive, and did a good job with it. Karlovic able to finish.
Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, it's coming this way here. It's touching here a little bit. It's coming. One.
So another big serve, finishing it off. Just caught the edge.
This weekend, live only on Sky Sports, European Cup Rugby semi-finals. In the Challenge Cup and in the Heineken Cup.
It's an all-Ireland semi-final.
Defending champions Munster face Leinster, and from the Millennium Stadium, Cardiff take on Leicester. Sponsored by Toyota, it all starts Friday 7:30 with the Heineken Cup semi-finals Saturday and Sunday, live only on Sky Sports.
I am not a customer reference number.
Don't treat me like an idiot.
Remember me.
Don't call me by my stage name.
This is a company being built around you. This is Aviva.
Nearly there, it would seem, for Federer. Into the third round, if he can hold serve here. He's held it all day so far.
Karlovic just struggling today to get balls back into play.
And if he completes it, this will be Federer's easiest win ever against the tall Croat. All their matches bar one have included a tie-break. Prior to this, and the one that didn't, well, went to 3 sets. 3 match points. Bowled it in and takes the applause. He should be very happy with that, and certainly he's delighted the crowd on this sunny afternoon. Safely through.
Yeah, this is just what we would hope for, a very solid win without any problems. So he has to be very satisfied. And you sense that this crowd really would like to see Federer do well. They've seen him in the finals here twice before. I'm sure they'd love to see him go one step further here in 2009.
Very positive start from Roger Federer. As Mark was saying beforehand, difficult first round opponent, of course, Ivo Karlovic, but that was dealt with aplomb. Tougher challenges to come, of course, but encouragement for the legion of Federer fans who are so keen to see their man make strides once again, and we'll hopefully have a word with Roger in just a few minutes' time. And we'll certainly see him in action again tomorrow. We'll be down to the last 16. Coverage once again from midday on Sky Sports 2. Much still to come before then, though. Here on centre next, it's Rafael Nadal against Andreas Seppi. There should be some atmosphere inside the stadium for that. The world #1 against the great Italian hope. And then it's Juan Martin Del Potro against Viktor Troicki of Serbia. But without more ado, let's have a word with Roger Federer. Congratulations, Roger. You're up and running again. How pleased were you with that one for openers?
Well, there's not much really baseline play, so it's hard to really judge your performance. I practiced a lot of baseline game last week, you know, so then you come here and you play Evo, you know, it's not a real, you don't get a real fair chance to really show what you can do. So it was just a matter of being concentrated. It was important that I got through the first couple of tough service games I had, and both times I got off to a good start, so that helped, and that really calmed the pulse down a little bit, because after a while he got going with his serve, and that you could see it just makes it so hard to return. So I'm happy to have come through so easily, actually.
Roger, congratulations. Lots of guessing where you've been. I'm not sure if I'm correct in knowing where you've been, but I believe you were practicing with Stefan Kubak. Was that right before this event?
Yeah, I was with him here in Italy, practicing for a week. You know, he's coming back from his own surgery, actually, so it was good to practice with him. We know each other since 10 years, you know, on tour, and he's always been a good friend of mine, and we've been grinding it out. It was good fun.
I was just wondering, is it a priority for you when you do your practice weeks to have a left-hander over a right-hander? Is that something you're looking for all the time?
Not really. Actually, I thought last year I didn't practice with that many lefties, actually, since I split up with Tony Roach. You know, all of a sudden, there goes your chance to practice with a lefty, and then you got to really look for them. That's why I now try always to tend just to once in a while throw in a lefty, just so I get to see that play as well, especially as, you know, Verdasco coming up, and obviously Rafa being, you know, as good as he is right now. It's just important to see the lefty ball, because when you see the lefty ball coming, the righty is not a problem, so that's why I just tend to throw that one in there.
Roger, good to see you back smiling again. Best of luck for the rest of the week.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, oh, he's happy and smiling at the moment. Some more challenges to come. Where do you get your inside information from, Pej?
No, you can't take that. You know, that's what makes me so valuable here, Marcus.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I knew there was something. He was happy enough. How did you think he performed there?
Well, I mean, a little nervy at the start. As I think you're going to be when you play Karlovic. I mean, he forehand just mistimed a couple, but got through there comfortably after being breakpoint down in the opening game. Very solid shot, wrong footing Karlovic, and once he got the break, he never looked back. Looked good. I mean, again, as I said before the match, I find it very difficult to sort of judge anyone's performance based on playing Karlovic. So I think you're always relieved when you get through that match. Not necessarily know a lot about your game, but just that one's done. Okay, who's next?
Well, it'll either be Feliciano Lopez or Radek Stepanek next. So whichever of those comes through, we will certainly learn a little more about his game then.
Absolutely. I suppose Lopez doesn't play your traditional style of clay court game, or Stepanek really. So I suppose for him it's quite a challenge to get through this part of the draw, because Stepanek will come in, serve and volley. Saw how wonderfully he played here last year, even drier than it was today, and difficult footing for Roger, particularly on the passing shots against Stepanek. But Lopez is another quality player. No guarantee that Stepanek will get past him. So yeah, I'm sure Federer happy that he's through. He's waiting. He can sort of just chill out, put his feet up, and let them worry about it.
Okay, we've got Rafa on the way shortly. Before that, let's round up everything else that's been happening on this sunny day in the Eternal City.